निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
It was from her heart.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. It was from her heart, and she's reciting this set for second time.
Yes.
First time was my force. Sorry.
Yes.
Over to you, Sachisude Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. We'll start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamshcha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Mataji, pranams Mataji. Mataji, I request all the devotees who are want to recite slokas and then reading the translation and purport, please raise their hands, please. Another so many devotees were, they were not responding, Mataji, how to do, what to do. Huh? So because of, for them only, we are all kept silent, you know.
Yes.
Then even though they were not responding, is it possible to calling every day, Mataji? That is not so nice. That is to be from their heart only.
Mataji, I think from the beginning order we should start, continuously they should start reading Mataji one by one. No need to.
Raise
That is
hands.
best.
No.
I mean, I can see first Vrishabhanu Mataji, then Dhanashri Mataji, then Sudha Mataji, then Bhargavi Mataji. Like that, I can see the order.
Yes.
Over Mataji, only 3 members have raised their hands.
Yeah, only 3 members have raised.
How you can recognize them? If not, they have raised their hands. How we can? Sindhu Mataji, you are in third, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th place.
Yes.
So how we can recognize this? If we raise the hand, we can identify and we call you. Huh? Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
Please, Mataji. There were 5 members were they have raised their hand. Then we can proceed.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay, so I welcome you all for today's session. And I seek blessings from all of you so that whatever I speak is in parampara and for my purification and pleasure of the Lord. Let us start. Yes, all of you have raised hands for reciting, but let me I want some points from previous class. So who wants to share 1 or 2 points, not more?
Mataji, I was absent.
I will try, Mataji. As usual, I will try, Mataji.
Yes.
Yeah, I will try. Maybe Archana Mataji, someone can carry on, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
I remember my school time. Whenever revision is there, I'm absent.
Yes, Sudha Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji, actually, Shukadeva Goswami is like, Shaunaka Rishi is asking a lot of questions, Mataji, about
Correct.
Parikshit Maharaj. Yeah, how, her guide, who's the right one to guide? Because Shukadeva Goswami was liberated by birth, right, in the womb for 16 years.
Yes.
So, so Vyasdev was asking, Shukadeva Goswami was only 16 years old, and Dukkalayam Ashashvatam, this is a place. So Vyasdev was also an elevated person, so he's following his son. And we also saw about the 5.18 sloka of Bhagavad Gita, Vidya Vinaya Shampane, right? Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Shaiva. And we saw the liberated soul and conditional soul. Liberated soul is based on outside appearance, he's seeing, but liberated soul always sees the soul, Atma, the spirit spark, he sees. So that is a difference we saw.
Okay.
And then the merciful, non-violence, kind, being truthful towards, no diplomacy, straightforwardness, righteous attitude, all which should, are the qualities of an elevated person. So we saw all that, Mataji, general qualities, how the spiritually elevated person will be like. And whereas Shukadeva Goswami, we saw how he was roaming like without dress and all that. His behavior was not, elevated like all that we saw. And then Shukadeva Goswami told Parikshit Maharaj to hear about the Lord. That is the only solution. The words spoken according to the Shastras, that is very, very important, not external things or not other things.
Correct. So we saw.
And then we saw Sadhu Sangha, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha. That we saw on 9th and 10th slokas, we saw Shravanam and Kirtanam. Mainly about Shravanam, Mataji was stressing. How by Shravanam, how it's, the faith develops and gradually the faith in the Shastras, everything. The mercy of the Lord.
Correct. So
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, thank you so much,
Hare
Sindhu
Krishna
Mataji.
Mataji.
Yes,
In addition to that, even though the Parikshit Maharaj is the emperor, why he has left his kingdom before leaving his body? What
Correct.
sort this opulences what he is going to do? That is also a question there.
Yes.
Even though
Asked
he is
by
being
the
a king.
sages, correct?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Those who can switch on their cameras, please switch on. Yes. So we'll start with today's verse now. I'll share the screen. Yes, so we are starting with verse number 11 today, 1.4.11. Yes, Vrishabhanu Kanya Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
नमन्ति निकेतमात्मनः शिवाय हानिय धनानि शत्रवः कथं स वीरः श्रियमङ्ग तुस्त्यजां युवैशतोस्त्रष्टुमहो सहा सुभिः.
Mataji, you can read
Mataji, Sudha Mataji, please translation read Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. He was such a great emperor that all his enemies would come and bow down at his feet and surrender all their wealth for their own benefit. He was full of youth and strength, and he possessed kingly opulences that were difficult to give up. Why did he want to give up everything, including his life? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Bhargavi Mataji, please read purport Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Purport. There was nothing undesirable in his life. He was quite a young man and could enjoy life with power and opulence. So there was no question of retiring from active life. There was no difficulty in collecting the state taxes because he was so powerful and chivalrous that even his enemies would come to him and bow down at his feet and surrender all wealth for their own benefit. Maharaja Parikshit was a pious king. He conquered his enemies, and therefore the kingdom was full of prosperity. There was enough milk, grains, and metals, and all the rivers and mountains were full of potency. So, materially, everything was satisfactory. Therefore, there was no question of untimely giving up his kingdom and life. The sages were eager to hear about all this. Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna Mataji. Thank you. So basically, the sages are asking about Parikshit Maharaj, his birth, his activities, and his renouncing when he was at the peak of everything. Okay. Um, so basically, they are surprised that how Parikshit Maharaj can do like this at such a point of time. And so they want to hear more and more about it. So we hear the qualities of Parikshit Maharaj. We can see so many qualities of Parikshit Maharaj that namanti yatpada niketa matmanaha, right? So the enemies, not enemies, yeah. Yeah, so the enemies also, suppose there are no neighboring kingdoms or neighboring kings, if they are troubling us or mistreating us, then we may say that, I want to give up the kingdom, I don't want to rule anymore, something like that. But it was not the case with Parikshit Maharaj. And actually all the kings would come to him and place. He was so powerful that all the kings would come to him and they will keep their helmets at the feet, at his feet, and please no, give us shelter, don't kill us. Whatever you want you can take, but don't kill us, and we want to take your shelter. That was the that was the thing the kings were having in their mind. Then the next thing is, was there any problem with the taxes? Were the people not paying taxes? So that was also not the case, because everybody, Prabhupada also mentions in the purport that everybody was paying taxes on time, and enemies also they will come, and he was having no rival as such, correct? So there was no economic problem as such also. And was he having some disease that, if we are having some disease, then we don't want to continue the things in our life. So was that the case? So no. In the shloka it is mentioned that Yuvai Shato, correct? So he was in his full youth. So Yatpada Niketam Atmanaha means everybody was willingly accepting the ownership of Parikshit Maharaj, correct? They were ready to surrender to him. He was that kind of king. Then Shivaya Haniya Dhanani Shatravaha means everybody was ready to pay taxes and everything was going on smoothly. And he was such a great, powerful king that and we saw in, you must have seen in previous shlokas that Parikshit Maharaj got this kingdom inheritedly, correct? He got this kingdom from his forefathers. He did not have to do anything to acquire this kingdom. Generally, people in this world, they are struggling to get power, correct? And for Parikshit Maharaj, this was he got it from his forefathers without doing any efforts. Correct? because the throne was waiting for him when he was placed on the throne. But we should understand that Parikshit Maharaj also, he was doing very well. What all qualities right now we are seeing, that all the kings were surrendered to him, and he was getting taxes properly and everything. Materially, Prabhupada writes in the purport that materially everything was satisfactory. So he was a very good administrator. He was a very good king. He was a very good leader. So it is not that his forefathers have given him this, enthroned him. That doesn't, he was worthy of that. Correct? It was not like he sometimes we make somebody king, but he doesn't do any good to people, or he exploits the public, or he is having bad habits like drinking, smoking. So then people will curse the forefathers, that what kind of hair they have given us. Correct? But this was like we know the example of King Vena. He was the son of King Anga, and he was not allowing Brahmanas to perform sacrifices, and he stopped them from worshipping the Supreme Lord also, because he wanted them to worship him. So that was not the case with Parikshit Maharaj. In fact, the citizens, they were all praising Parikshit Maharaj because of his greatness, because he was such a great, powerful king. Right? So the here thing is that then the sages are surprised, kind of. If he is at such a position that he is having everything, what we want, money was there, youth was there, power was there, beauty was there, popularity was there, prestige was there, everything was there, and still he wanted to give up his kingdom. All those things which people struggle in this world, all these things he was having in his palette, and still he gave them all. They were thinking, so, I mean, how strange this fellow is. And so they are wondering, and so they want to ask to Sutta Goswami that why Parikshit Maharaj did that. Correct? And here we should understand that we should be grateful to Shaunakadi Rishis, because they ask this question for our benefit. Correct? So that we can understand what the thing behind it is. Right? And so they are in the next verse also they are asking this question only, because 9 to 12 it describes about the Parikshit Maharaj's qualities, and why he gave up, why he was ready to die in 7 days in spite of having all these things in his hand. Correct? So now let us go to the next shloka.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Giridhar Gopal Prabhuji, please read.
Hare Krishna.
Please
Yes. Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna,
shloka
Mataji.
and then translation. Sunila
Yeah.
Sri Radha Devi Masaji, please read purport Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Shivaya lokasya bhavaya bhutaye ya uttama sloka parayana janaha jivanti natmartam asau parashrayam mumoksha nirvidya kuta kalevaram. Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Those who are devoted to the cause of the personality of Godhead live only for the welfare, development, and happiness of others. They do not live for any selfish interest. So, even though the Emperor Parikshit was free from all attachment to the worldly possessions, how could he give up his mortal body, which was the shelter for others? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, purport by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Parikshit Maharaj was an ideal king and householder because he was a devotee of the personality of Godhead. A devotee of the Lord automatically has all good qualifications, and the emperor was a typical example of this. Personally, he had no attachment for all the worldly opulences in his possession. But since he was king for all around welfare of his citizens, he was always busy in the welfare work of the public. not only for this life, but also for the next. He would not allow slaughterhouses or killing of cows. He was not a foolish and partial administrator who would arrange for the protection of one living being and allow another to be killed. Because he was a devotee of the Lord, he knew perfectly well how to conduct his administration for everyone's happiness. Men, animals, plants, and all other living creatures. He was not selfishly interested. Selfishness is either self-centered or self-extended. He was neither. His interest was to please the supreme truth, personality of Godhead. The king is the representative of the supreme Lord, and therefore the king's interest must be identical with that of the supreme Lord. The supreme Lord wants all living beings to be obedient to him and thereby become happy. Therefore, the king's interest is to guide all the subjects back to the kingdom of God. Hence, the activities of the citizens should be so coordinated that they can, at the end, go back home back to Godhead. Under the administration of a representative king, the kingdom is full of opulence. At that time, human beings need not eat animals. There are ample food grains, milk, fruit, and vegetables so that the human beings as well as the animals can eat sumptuously and to their heart's content. If all living beings are satisfied with food and shelter and obey the prescribed rules, there cannot be any disturbance between one living being and another. Emperor Parikshit was a worthy king, and therefore all were very happy during his reign. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So again, glorification of Parikshit Maharaj, how great king he was, and he was the shelter for others. So the sages are asking, okay, he is not he is not interested in money, he is not interested in prestige, and he doesn't want to be a king. Fine, but what about the millions of people who are dependent on him? Okay, so how could he do that then? So what so he should take responsibility of all of them, correct? So many people are dependent on you. So if one is detached from something, but if others depend on us, then it adds responsibility. So the sages are wondering that if he is shelter for so many people, how can he do like this? So like we see a banyan tree giving shelter to many birds, many passers-by, then gives fruits, gives tree barks, then gives gums, give firewood and firewood branches, and protecting people from summer and winter, isn't it? So such a very large tree, if somebody comes and tries to cut that tree, then definitely we will think that how foolish is this person? No, this is such a shelter giving tree, and why the people are cutting it, isn't it? So similarly, the sages are thinking that uh, Parikshit Maharaj is shelter for so many people, then why he is giving up his life like this? He should have, he should understand, I mean, he should be responsible and he should protect and take care of the people. And then in this verse, 4 qualities of Parikshit Maharaj are given. That one is he is doing welfare for development of he is living only for the welfare, development, and happiness of others. Then he doesn't have any selfish interest. He is fully devoted to the cause of personality of Godhead, and he is fully detached. Okay. He is not at all attached to his worldly or material possessions. So, and we will understand how he is shelter. So it is indicated by 2 words. How he is shelter, that we can understand by Bhavaya and Bhutaye. These 2 words we understand that how he is shelter. So Bhavaya means to extinguish material life. Okay, that means to put full stop to this samsar, this cycle of birth and death. And Bhutaye means economic development and material welfare. Correct? So he, Shivaya Lokasya, means he took care of both these things, spiritual welfare and material welfare. And that is how he gave shelter to them. in both ways. Correct? So giving them giving shelter in such a way, in spiritual as well as material welfare, one creates auspiciousness, Shivaya Lokasya. Correct? And then it is said Uttama Shloka Parayana. So Uttam Shloka Parayana means devotees of the Lord. They create auspiciousness, Shivaya, by Bhavaya and Bhutayi, means by giving material as well as spiritual shelter to the people. So 4 qualities of ideal leader or ideal king, correct? So he should be fully detached, as Parikshit Maharaj was. So detached from everything, correct? Basically detached from material enjoyment. That is the main thing. There is a story that there was one king whose name was Shikhadwaja. And he saw that sadhus and sannyasis in his kingdom, they are getting too much respect. And he was thinking that I am king, but still they are getting more respect than me. They are getting much more honor. So he developed a desire to become a sannyasi. And of course, he was not that old that he would renounce everything and go to the forest. But still, somehow or other, he took to the renounced order of life. And in the forest, he went to the forest. But he was not that happy. Correct? And there was another sannyasi who was very cheerful and joyful and innocent like a child. And so this Shikhadwaj, he was thinking that how he is so happy and I'm not that happy. Uh, what may be the reason? So this sannyasi, the other sannyasi, he knew that who this person was. And so he asked him, but still he asked him that I don't know who are you. Will you tell me about yourself? So when he asked like that, Shikhadwaj, he immediately said, "Oh, you don't know who am I? Okay, and then I will tell you. Wait, I will tell you." And then he started speaking about himself. Right? I am Shikhadwaj. I am the king, and I have this kingdom. I have that kingdom. I have conquered this. I have conquered that. I have so many queens. I have so many children, and how I am great. So he was speaking on all these things for half an hour. Okay. And then the other sannyasi said, okay, wait a minute. Now I understand the reason why you are not happy in this forest, because you have renounced everything externally. You have renounced everything. You have come to the forest, but you have not yet given up the attachment for them. Correct? Those material things are still lingering in your mind. And so you are not happy at all. So we have to giving up attachment means we should lose a taste for material enjoyment. Okay. Otherwise, otherwise the things will not be in place. We should be like Padma Patra Ivambasa, like lotus flower amongst the this thing also. It is not touched by that mud, isn't it? So same way we have to detach from material enjoyment. And one more point is, whenever you have that prestige and position, then definitely we look for some privileges or comforts. Correct? So and also we become attached to the things we are what we are given. So that type of material attachment, it weakens our strength. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, once Sanatan Goswami was having a blanket with him, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staring at that blanket. It was a very good quality blanket. And then Sanatan Goswami understood, and what he did is he just exchanged that blanket with a poor beggar, and he took his torn blanket. Okay, so that type of attachment, small things, no, we have so much attachment. So a leader, especially who is leading, who is in a leader role or who is a king, he should be detached from such material possessions, and then only he will have clarity of thoughts, speech, and actions. So if we are attached, then in problem solving, we become enjoyers, correct? And we try to exploit the weaknesses of others. So that's why we know that story of two cats and one monkey. So these cats, they wanted to eat bread, and they were not able to divide it, equally. So they went to the monkey and they asked him, to divide and give us equal parts. So what the monkey was doing, he was not judging that, he was weighing that, and he said, okay, this is little more, so he ate that part. Then he said, no, this has become little more, so he ate that. And in this way, he only ate the whole thing, and the cats did not get anything. So if a leader is not detached from such things, then he will tend to exploit the people. Like we see today's leaders, what they are exactly doing. Or if he is given to handle money, then definitely there will be he will do some fraud in that or something like that. So fully detached, the leader or the king should be fully detached, so that he will not have any self-interest, but he will only work on behalf of Supreme Lord, because Lord is taking care of everybody. So he should understand that I am just becoming an instrument. And that is way Parikshit Maharaj or Amrish Maharaj, they served like that. And their life was devoted to Supreme Lord. Because they were devoted to Supreme Lord, that is the place from where they got nourishment to and strength to become detached and advance in their spiritual life. When one is attached to lotus feet of Lord, then one can be easily detached from material things or material possessions, correct? And then he always thinks of welfare and happiness of others, and then he becomes shelter to others, right? So, and he should, now the king, so the king offers a shelter, and he sees that all citizens are children of God, correct? And that way only he can offer proper shelter. Like, for example, if a woman comes and tells that, some mishap has happened, like famine or drought, and, or terrible fire accident or something like that, and she asks shelter from somebody. Now, if that person is a father or mother, then she will be safe. But if uh, if other if somebody other if other offers shelter, then they may exploit her, correct? There is a tendency, correct? So that's why he should give shelter, considering all are children of God. And so that's why if he is detached from everything, then he can offer best shelter. Like we know Shibi, and not just human beings, he should offer shelter to all animals, birds, everybody in his kingdom. And then Parikshit Maharaj, he was always thinking that what is the what I'm doing, what is the purpose of my doing this, what is the motivation, correct? So he chastised Kali, he punished Kali for the welfare of the citizens. So every time what was in his mind is welfare of his citizens, correct? That is protection of his citizens. Like father and mother, they always protect the children. So similarly, the leader's intention should be always protection, and such, and that not just offer protection and shelter, but one should offer the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. Correct? Otherwise, simply protecting from difficulties is not enough. So real shelter is giving them the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, because that is the real shelter, because we are nobody to give shelter to anybody. Correct? So only Lord can give shelter, and we can only offer that shelter to the people in general. So Parikshit Maharaj, Prabhupada writes in the purport that therefore the king's interest is to guide all subjects. First thing is Prabhupada writes is the king is the representative of the Supreme Lord, and therefore the king's interest must be identical with that of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord wants everybody to come back to him, isn't it? We are the rebellious children who have come here, right? So the king should act in such a way that he should guide people to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and he should guide them to go back home, back to Godhead. Correct? And then one more thing Prabhupada is mentioning: if all living beings are satisfied with food and shelter and obey the prescribed rules, there cannot be any disturbance between one living being and another. So if all those things, food distribution is equal, then the society will be peaceful and will become happy. Correct? But in modern times, it is spoiled by our greedy leaders, correct, who want to make money in everything. Correct. So they are not guiding the civilization, or they are not guiding the people to go back home, back to Godhead. That is the main thing. And that's why we can see why in the reign of Parikshit Maharaj, why everybody was so happy, and everybody wanted him to be the king. Okay. So such a king, such a great king, then the sages are again asking, then why did he give up all these things? Though he was fully, he was devoted, he was working only for the welfare of his citizens, and he was fully detached, but still, why he is why he gave up his life in 7 days? Correct. So one thing is that yeah. So it is said that by doing so, why he accepted. Actually, Parikshit Maharaj has that power to counter, reverse that curse. Shrungi, he has given him curse. So Parikshit Maharaj has power to reverse that curse, but he did not do so. And by doing so, he attracted Shukadev Goswami to speak Bhagavatam. And we know that in this Kali Yuga, कृष्णेश वदाम उपगते धर्म ज्ञानादिभिः सह कलौ नष्ट दृशामेश पुराणार्को धुमोदिता. This Bhagavad Puran is a torch light, correct? In this age of Kali, Bhagavad Puran is the Lord himself personified in Bhagavad Puran. So to leave behind this example of total surrender, then glories of Shukadev Goswami, and this illustrious literature Srimad Bhagavatam, to give light to all in this age of Kali, Parikshit Maharaj was willing to give up his body. Okay, that is the greatness of Parikshit Maharaj. And yes, Sutta Goswami will be telling this in the coming verses. So let us go to the next shloka. So we see here how ideal leader should be, and Parikshit Maharaj is a great example of that. Yes.
Now, Kusum Mataji, you have to please recite Mataji and translation. Archana Mataji, purport.
प्रणाम प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्णा माता जी।
Hare Krishna.
तत्सर्वं नः समाचक्ष्व पृष्टो यदि किञ्चन मन्ये त्वां विषये वाचां स्नातम् अन्यत्र छान्दसात्। माता जी क्षमा चाहती हूँ। Translation: We know that you are expert in the meaning of all subjects, except some portions of the Vedas, and thus you can clearly explain the answers to all the questions you have just put to you. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranams
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna, Mataji.
Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. The difference between the Vedas and the Puranas is like that between the Brahmanas and Parivrajakas. The Brahmanas are meant to administer some fruitive sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas, but the Parivrajakacharyas or learned preachers are meant to disseminate transcendental knowledge to one and all. As such, Parivrajakacharyas are not always expert in pronouncing the Vedic mantras, which are practiced systematically by accent and meter by the Brahmanas, who are meant for administering Vedic rites. Yet it should not be considered that Brahmanas are more important than the itinerant preachers. They are one and different simultaneously because they are meant for the same end in different ways. There is no difference also between the Vedic mantras and what is explained in the Puranas and Itihasas. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, it is mentioned in the Madhyadina Shruti that all Vedas, namely Sama, Atharva, Rig Veda, and Yajurveda, Puranas, Itihasas, Upanishads, etc., are emanations from the breathing of Supreme Being. The only difference is that the Vedic mantras are mostly begun with Pranava Omkara, and it requires some training to practice the metric pronunciation of Vedic mantras. But that does not mean that Srimad Bhagavatam is of less importance than the Vedic mantras. On the contrary, it is the ripened fruit of all Vedas as stated before. Besides that, the most perfectly liberated soul, Srila Sukadev Goswami, is absorbed in the studies of Bhagavatam, although he is already self-realized. Srila Sutta Goswami is following his footsteps, and therefore his position is not the least less important because he was not expert in chanting Vedic mantras with metric pronunciation, which depends more on practice than actual realization. Realization is more important than parrot-like chanting. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So the sages, Shaunakadi rishis, they are encouraging Sutta Goswami that we have full faith in you and we know that you can answer all our questions, even though you may not be expert in all the Vedas. Correct? Because Sutta Goswami, he was not a Brahmana by birth. He was not from a Brahmana family. So they are giving him assurance that we know that you are qualified. Correct? So expertise in Vedic literature is not a qualification for speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada is mentioning about Brahmanas and Parivrajakacharyas. So Brahmanas, they are meant to administer some fruitive sections of Vedas, and Paramahasas or Parivrajakacharyas are the preachers. So whether one understands all Vedic mantras or not, it doesn't matter. But the essence of the fruit of the Vedas is Srimad Bhagavatam. That is Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam. So Sutta Goswami should not think that I am not a Brahmana or he was not from a Brahmin family. So no, he may not have understood all the aspects of the Vedas. No problem. But to have understood, Kusumlata Mataji, will you please mute? Yes. He may not have understood all aspects of Vedas, but no problem. If he has understood the essence, that is the most important thing. Correct? So, realization is more important than parrot-like chanting. Prabhupada is mentioning the last statement. Realization is more important. So many pundits are there, and they are more proficient in chanting the Vedic mantras than the devotees, ISKCON devotees. But many of the devotees may not know how to chant the mantras properly. But Prabhupada once, there was some, I think some conference was there, and Prabhupada asked his disciple to recite the mantras, recite the shlokas, and that Mataji recited. And the pandits who had come there, they said that, she is, she is saying the shlokas, but the pronunciation is not correct. So then Prabhupada immediately said, the pronunciation may not be correct, but you see her renunciation. She has all the way from America, she has come here and she has dedicated her life to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the renunciation is more important, right? And once once Prabhupada was in Chennai, and there also one Pandit said that your disciples are not chanting, pronouncing properly. Then Srila Prabhupada said, okay, you come to the temple and train them. So move to our temple. And then Prabhupada said, ki, okay, but to come to the temple, you have to leave your tea, coffee and everything. So immediately that person said, no, it's okay. That the pronunciation is not that bad. Right? So, people may chant the mantras perfectly, but in their personal life, in their character, in their behavior, how they are, that is more important. Okay, not just parrot-like chanting mantras, but doing something else in their personal life or in their behavior. They are doing something else, then that is not a good thing. And so Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that in Kali Yuga, majority of people will not be inclined to learning, or they may not be learned scholars in Shastras. So one should, and therefore he gave us the simple Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Correct. Sometimes people think that if the people are chanting Vedic mantras and elaborate arrangements are there, then only it is good. That is also good. Vedic mantras definitely have good effect, but that is not the only thing. So one should not think that Suta Goswami was not on the highest level of Vedic understanding. So one should not think that he is not qualified. Prabhupada mentions in the purport that he was following in the footsteps of Shukadev Goswami, and Shukadev Goswami was absorbed in the studies of Bhagavatam. Correct? So though he was not qualified enough, but it doesn't mean he was not a Brahmana, but he was qualified. Correct? We have example of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. We know that how scholar he was, and people used to say that his vocabulary was like Shakespeare. Correct? And sometimes in his articles, how he used to write words. So sometimes we have to we have to take dictionary and really understand the meaning of the word. That was his vocabulary. But we know that he he became disciple of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, and he was illiterate person. Okay, he did not know how to sign his name also. Correct? But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he took Diksha from him. Correct? So, to demonstrate bhakti, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did this to demonstrate that bhakti is not based on the principle of the amount of knowledge you have. Correct? Knowledge you have acquired. that does not indicate your advancement in devotional service, correct? You should be a realized person. And that's what Prabhupada is saying, ki realization is more important than parrot-like chanting. Correct? So the Brahmanas are saying here that we know that you are qualified enough. Shaunakadi Rishis, so many, maybe many of them were expert in Vedas, but still they are saying that Sutta Goswami is qualified because he is following in the footsteps of Shukadev Goswami, and he has realized the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. And so they are asking questions to him that please answer our questions and please enlighten us more and more. Next shloka.
Madhavi Mataji. Sloka and translation. Devala Mataji. Purport.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, I'm not very good with the shloka. Can you please help me?
Yes. Will you repeat after me, Mataji?
For sure, Mataji. Thank you.
Yes. Suta Uvacha.
Suta Vacha.
Dvapare samanu prapte.
Dvapare samano prapte.
Trutiye yuga paryaye.
Trutiye yuga paryaye.
Jatah parasharadyogi.
Jatah parashara yogi.
Vasavyam kalaya harehe.
Vasavya kalaya hare.
Harehe. Yes.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Sutta Goswami said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyasadeva was born to Parashara in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of Vasu. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvatram. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. There is a chronological order of the 4 millenniums, namely Satyayug, Dwapar, Treta, and Kali. But sometimes there is overlapping. During the regime of Vaivasvata Manu, there was an Vaivasvata Manu, there was an overlapping of the 28th round of the 4 millenniums, and the 3rd millennium appeared prior to the 2nd. In that particular millennium, Lord Shri Krishna also descends, and because of this, there was some particular alteration. The mother of the great sage was Satyavati, the daughter of the Vasu fisherman, and the father was the great Parashara Muni. That is the history of Vyasadeva's birth. Every millennium is divided into 3 periods, and each period is called a Sandhya. Vyasadeva appeared in the 3rd Sandhya of the particular age. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna. So now this shloka onwards till the mid of 7th chapter, how Bhagavatam came into existence is described. Okay, because now later on in this chapter, Narada Muni will appear and he will guide Vyasdev, and how Vyasdev wrote Bhagavatam. So all these things are going to come. So Vyasdev's birth is described here, that how he appeared as the son of Parashar Muni and Satyavati, and in the 3rd Sandhya of that particular age, Dwapar Yuga. So it is generally every millennium is divided into 3 parts, and each period is called a Sandhya, and Vyasdev appeared in the 3rd Sandhya, okay, of that particular age. Yes.
Sindhu Mataji. Sindhu Mataji, Sindhu Mataji.
Yes.
Oh, please. You have been to kitchen?
Yeah. Which sloka?
The 15th.
Yeah, the sloka also, right? Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
sloka
Pranam
translation. Divya
Sure,
Desai
sure.
Mataji purport.
Sure, sloka 15, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. स कदाचित् सरस्वत्या उपस्पृश्य जलं शुचिः विविक्त एक आशीन उदिते रविमण्डले. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh, purport is also very small. Once
Yes.
upon a time, he, Vyasadeva, as the sun rose, took his morning ablution in the waters of the Saraswati and sat alone to concentrate. Purport: the river Saraswati is flowing in the Badrikashrama area of the Himalayas. So the place indicated here is Samya Prasha in Badrikashrama, where Sri Vyasadeva is residing. Thank you.
Yes. So now Suta Goswami, he has started giving answers, and now he is talking about Vyasadeva, how he is son of Parashar Muni and Satyavati. And now once he sat on the rivers or on the banks of river Saraswati, and he offered oblations, and he started meditating. The place is in Badrikashram, Samya Prash. And last shloka for today. Yes, Divya Mataji.
Divya Mataji, yes.
परावरज्ञ स ऋषिः कालेनाव्यक्त रमहसा युगधर्म व्यतिकरं प्राप्तं भुवि युगे युगे. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The great sage Vyasadeva saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happens on the earth in different ages due to the unseen force of time. Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Kusum Mataji, please read purport.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
The great sages like Vyasadeva are liberated souls, and therefore they can see clearly past and future. Thus, he could see the future anomalies in the Kali age, and accordingly he made arrangements for the people in general so that they can execute a progressive life in this age, which is full of darkness. The people in general in this age of Kali are too much interested in matter, which is temporary. Because of ignorance, they are unable to evaluate the assets of life and be enlightened in spiritual knowledge. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna. So Vyasadeva being liberated soul, he could see past and past, present, and future. And it was his duty to be a well-wisher for all. So that so what did he see in trance will be what he did see in trance, that is in his meditation, that will be described in the next two verses 17 and 18, which we will you will be doing it tomorrow. Basically he saw what's going to come in this age of Kali. So different people offer different kinds of services, and sages like Vyasdev see the misfortune coming and how they can offer transcendental knowledge to the people in that period. Correct? So Vyasdev is going to write all these literatures, okay, and he is going to write Srimad Bhagavatam for the people of Kali Yuga, so that they can come out. No, they can go back home, back to Godhead. Correct? That is the contribution of Vyasdev. So in the next verses, we'll see what all anomalies he see in the age of Kali. Correct? So that is for today. We'll stop here. So basically, we saw in today's class that how a good leader or a great king should be. What are his characteristics or qualities? And we saw how how the great kings, Parikshit Maharaj or Yudhishthir Maharaj or Amrish Maharaj, they all possessed these qualities, right? And the sages are very eager to know about the activities of Parikshit Maharaj. Why Parikshit Maharaj's birth was so important? Because
Was blessed by the Supreme Lord in the womb itself.
correct, he was protected by the Supreme Lord in the womb of his mother. And why his activities are so important?
Because even he is the devotee of the
Because-
Lord.
Correct.
And he comes from the good family.
He is
Hare
fully
Krishna.
devoted to the Supreme Lord and fully detached.
Correct. And
He is coming from a popular family, Mataji.
yes, and he chastised Kali and he punished Kali, isn't it? So his activities are glorious. And yes, and why his death is also important?
Because he used those 7 days to, with austerity, to listen to the Srimad Bhagavatam, Mataji. Sincerely. Hare Krishna.
Correct. Very good. And because of that, now we are able to read Srimad Bhagavatam, isn't it? It is the mercy of Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, correct? In spite of having everything at his disposal, Parikshit Maharaj was having everything, no? Name, fame, prestige, opulence, power, what not he was having, isn't it? But instead of though he was having everything, but still he took the curse as a blessing upon him. And he went to the bank of Ganga and he heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukadev Goswami. Correct? So because of that, we are able to read Srimad Bhagavatam and recite the shlokas of Srimad Bhagavatam, such a great literature, a savior for this age of Kali. Correct? So that's why Parikshit Maharaj's activities, and so the sages of Naimisharanya, they are very eager to hear about the story of Parikshit Maharaj, correct? And so they are inquiring eagerly from Sutta Goswami that please, no, they are surprised also, they are amazed also, and so they are asking that please tell us about Parikshit Maharaj's activities. So now Sutta Goswami will start narrating. So next classes we will see how Ved Vyas, he wrote all the Vedas and what anomalies and how he divided the Vedas, and everything will come in the coming verses. Okay.